What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. I'm back at WRXperts for more part installs on my car. I'm here with the owner, Juan.
Thank you, JJ, for featuring us on your blog. As you said, my name is Juan. I'm the owner of WRXperts Autoworks here in West Park, Florida, where we specialize just in Subarus. We do from basic maintenance to full-blown builds. Feel free to check us out on our Instagram page at WRXperts Autoworks or our Facebook page.
So let's point out everything that's getting done. We have some TGV deletes by torquesolutions. Also, we got the fuel rails from them. Here are the gaskets for the TGV deletes. We got an Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator. Shout out to Nippon for providing us with these parts. Also, we have the gauge for the pressure. Here we have the Injector Dynamics 1050X with all the plug-and-play harness and everything to make the install easier. And we also have the fuel line and all the other parts that we need to install it.
Hey, welcome to Nippon Power. Don't forget to check us on our website at nipponpower.com for your performance, import performance needs. This is my brother Robert.
Hello.
I'm Richard, and we've been in business since 1998. So we have about over 20 years of experience. Any questions you have, technical or just advice on what particular product you need for your car, give us a call. 305-805-1321 or stop by our shop.
Alright, so let's get started. What's the first thing?
Alright, first things first, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the ground on the battery. Anytime you work on the engine, it's always recommended disconnect the negative battery terminal. In this case, as we're going to be digging in a little deeper, we're just going to go ahead and yank the battery out completely. Just a quick 10mm wrench, loosen up the bolt for the terminal. Another 10mm. Take off the battery tie down. Battery's out. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and take off the top mount intercooler. 8mm socket into the clamps, 12mm. We're going to take out the bypass valve first, then unbolt the brackets. Put this to the side, and then we're going to get this side bracket here, and a little bit of fight, but she'll come out. And she's out. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and take off the ram, just to give us some room really quick. Little quick pop of the tabs with a flat screwdriver, and she is out. Alright, next we're going to go ahead and start taking apart the intake. For starters, pop off these Allens. Alright, we're going to go ahead and remove the map sensor, disconnect it, and we're going to unbolt the intake really quick in the bracket.
You have all these bolts memorized, right? So many.
We're going to go ahead and loosen up this 8mm clamp. So we take this intake out, go ahead and loosen up bottom bolt, 10mm bolt. Take out the bracket. Next. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take out this belt shroud.
Size of that?
10mm bolt. Unbolt the alternator terminal. It's a 12mm. Just Be careful, there's a crush washer on it, so you don't lose it. Sometimes I like to use a flat screwdriver, press on the button and pop out so you don't run the risk of breaking the plug. Loosen this one up along with the AC. This is just making a little more room to work with. We're going to go ahead and get our long 12mm. We want to loosen up the tensioner, 12 on the alternator. And we're going to loosen up where the hinge is. And loosen the top one. And we can go ahead and remove the belt. Get that out of the way. Go ahead and just fully unbolt it. We're going to do the same on the back. Just make sure you hold the bracket so you don't drop it. Bracket out of the way. So if you have a hard time, just trusty ratchet, unscrew it out. And alternator's out. Alright, on the newer ones, there's no tensioner. These are basically stretch belts. So they're stuck on there. We're basically gonna pry it off. So you're gonna get yourself a 22mm socket, put it up against the crank sprocket, crank pulley, and use a pry bar. What you're gonna do is spin it clockwise. As you notice, the belt sliding off the AC compressor. And it's off. Now we're gonna go ahead and just remove the air pump. Again, we're just making life easier. So we're just making ourselves a little more room to work with. We're gonna use our pliers right here, this tension clamp. I'm gonna move it back. And then we're gonna go ahead with 12mm with an extension. We got 2 bolts right between the air pump. And basically just pull it out of the hose. And voila, it's out. Next we're gonna go ahead and unbolt the actual AC compressor along with the bracket. You have an inside bolt here. It's kind of hidden. Right, on the back one, you're going to want to use a swivel just so you can get the socket nice and flat on it. You got the one on the front. It's a 14mm bolt. We have the one right here, which basically hides right under the actual air pump. Now, the AC is free to move out of the way. Now we're gonna do fuel lines. All right, we're gonna use our trusty Company 23 fuel line tool for these quick releases. I've been using them for years and they're great for popping these stock fuel lines out of the way. Don't freak out, it's gonna shoot a little bit. That's just basically whatever's left in the lines. Slide, make sure you both slide in and they come back out. Needle nose or regular pliers. You're gonna basically turn the clamp, slide it out. So we can slide out the vent for the gas tank. Alright, now we could actually officially move the AC compressor out of the way. Make our life a little easier. Basically, we're gonna move the power steering pump out of the way as well, at least to loosen up and give us more room to work with. We got 2 12mm bolts in the bottom, one on the right side and technically one right under the actual pulley on the left side. So we're just gonna reach in there and You're gonna fill up the bolt. Put your socket on it. Break it loose. And then we got this one on the right. Last, we got one all the way hidden back there. So carefully with your swivel and your 12, just worm it in there. Get it nice and flat. Break it loose. And the bolt's out. All right, we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the signal for the power steering pump. And basically, again, just moving stuff out of the way, make life easier. Next, we're gonna go ahead and just start disconnecting harnesses and plugs. So we disconnected crank sensor, oil pressure sensor, and then down here, always make sure to disconnect the coolant sensor, temperature sensor. Prepping the harness, since he's got an AOS, he's got a bracket on the actual main harness plug. So we're gonna loosen that up, get that out of the way. Flat screwdriver, just pop it right there in the clip. It'll open it up, and you're loose. On this model, since it's dual ABCS, you have the harness that extends further down under it that connects to the actual ABCS sensor as well as the cam sensor for the exhaust cams. Down here, we're gonna go ahead and start off with disconnecting the harness that goes to the ABCS, which is a blue plug. Then you have lower cam sensor for the exhaust, which is a gray plug. We're gonna do the same on the opposite side as well. Disconnect the blue one and disconnect the gray one. Now, if you notice on the newer models, they have a bracket that's got a clip on it. So get yourself a needle nose, squeeze the sides, and it pops out. All right, here we're gonna go ahead and disconnect coil pack. Slide that one out. And you have the one on this side. On the tab. And she slides right out. We're gonna have to disconnect this bracket here. All right, we got two 10mm bolts holding this bracket in place. One right here towards the front side. And then you have one right below this harness here. Now you have, this will come out all with the intake manifold. Just move it out of the way. All right. We're going to do the same on the other side. You have the ducting for the air pump. Go ahead and unbolt that 10mm bolt. Just basically swing this up. It'll give you room. Reach in there. Pull back on the tab. That coil pack is disconnected. And you got the back one, which is a little pain, but you can get it. And she's loose. Then you have this one here, which is the lower ABCS. Just put it over, make it a little easier so when you pull out the manifold. Also, while you're here, don't forget upper ABCS solenoid. It's a blue plug as well. Pop the clip, slide it out. We're gonna do the same on the opposite side. And she's out. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and start removing the throttle body. Give us some more area to work with. So for starters, we're gonna get that 8mm clamp, remove it off, go ahead and unplug throttle body, main heart plug, and as well as the map sensor plug. Now you're gonna get yourself a 10mm long socket. You're gonna break these loose, and now the reason why we're gonna go ahead and remove the throttle body and leave it attached to the motor is because we have coolant lines running through it. So we wanna minimize the coolant mess as much as possible. Quick trick, what I do, just pop it, comes loose, gasket stays intact. Some people like to use reuse the gaskets. I'm a fan of replacing it, so we'll go ahead and replace that one. But as you notice, you have two coolant lines that are running through the actual throttle body. So we're gonna go ahead and leave it attached and just leave this to the side for now. Now you get the main harness. You have, because of the IAG AOS, I'm sorry, the Cobb AOS. We have a PCV valve hose. We're gonna go ahead and remove that. We're gonna go ahead and snip the tie wrap off. Pull the hose off. And just giving us more room. Then you have these crankcase hoses. So we're gonna go ahead and start removing those as well. These are very simple. Some people have a hard time with them. Like the gentleman holding the camera. I'm gonna show you the trick. Nice little flat screwdriver. You're gonna press down on the clip. And then just basically, let me see if I can do it in this angle. Just get it from the base of the sensor. You see? Slides right out. And then this one here, it's got a bottom tab on it. Slide a little pick under it. Little flat screwdriver will work. But she'll slide right off. The hose stays intact. Then you have this clamp here that's tie wrapped, holding it in place. Pop it loose. And now you're freeing the harness from the actual crankcase breather hose. Air pump, delete that as well. We'll go ahead and plug that. And then this one's gonna be hard to see. This is more of a feel than to see, but down here on the back of the head, there is a cam sensor. So you're gonna wanna reach under, push on the tab, and she is disconnected, which is this little tricky plug right here. All right, you're gonna go ahead and just pull these cables up just to make sure they don't get caught on anything as we remove them. You got brake booster hose and the vacuum hose for the regulator. Just loosen it up a little bit. And she's out. Let me get my pliers, but I don't need them.
You got man hands.
And we just disconnect that. So this is out of the way, this is out of the way. And then last, on this side, we have the other part of the air pump. I believe this is a secondary air pump, but we're gonna go ahead and disconnect connection to it as well. Bypass valve we can leave connected. And then the last thing on this side is you have this breather hose. We're gonna have to disconnect it, and then we're gonna have to actually I take that back. That one stays on there. That's just the extension. But down here we have a knock sensor. As you can see, we're gonna have to disconnect that one as well.
I feel like I don't need those anymore with the Mikey tune, right?
Nope, you don't.
No, not with Mikey tune.
Alright, so all that's left is just to start disconnecting that, and we can start unbolting the actual intake manifold. Alright, we're gonna now remove the coolant reservoir. So two 12mm bolts. That'll loosen it up. You got this bracket over here. It's this little nut. Break it loose. So that way it slides out. And then my little trick, you get the hose clamp here. I'm gonna move it back. These, don't ever throw these away. These are from the stock exhaust that connect to the cap back to the downpipe. These I keep because of the perfect diameter for the hoses. So what I do is pry the hose away, and then basically, pop this. So we're gonna hold it upright, and then this here Fits perfect. Voila, done. So we don't have a coolant mess. And then here, I don't have a cap. So then here you can use a regular cap. I just like to rig something up really quick with the other screw. And then that way we can just toss it to the side and not have to worry about it being in the way and making a mess. So next we're gonna disconnect the other crankcase breather, pop this one loose, and then again, you're gonna push down on the button, twist, and it pops out. That way it slides out. All right, all we have left is we got the bottom cam sensor. This is why it works out, because you're gonna be moving this around. All right, also, before we forget, we're gonna disconnect the bottom cam sensor for the passenger side. Actually, it's the intake cam sensor, but it's right under the intake manifold. And that one's disconnected too. I'm gonna loosen up this bracket. And then that way it comes out, same thing. Squeeze the two ends. Brackets out of the way.
Sounds like NASCAR.
Back port on the inlet, we have the last breather. Pop it out, get that last one out of the way, and then you have the vacuum lines that go to the turbo, to the EBCS. So, pop those out, and you got the other one. EBCS is disconnected, and last we have the 10 millimeter to the inlet. To the inlet to 10 millimeter. Open it up some, and we are ready to pull up. So we have 4 on each side, 12 millimeter bolts that bolt the TGV to the actual head itself. So we're going to start unbolting these. The other side as well. We got 4 of them. They're a little bit of a pain, so you get them with a magnet. Now here, on this coolant line, from factory, they always put this clamp in this manner. So since we're gonna be leaving the coolant line on, I'm just gonna turn the clamp some, so that way as we slide up the intake manifold, it won't be in the way. And we are ready. Okay, that's not working. Just do a couple of whacks with the rubber mallet, and she's ready to come out. Just carefully and slowly. Just make sure nothing's caught on anything. This one's a little tricky because the stock fuel line that clamps right up against the hose.
I just got
Yeah, it happens. And then we got this one here. Just want to disconnect that. And your manifold is out.
nice. All right guys, so that sums up part 1, which is removing the intake manifold. Make sure to hit that subscribe button for future videos for part 2, which is going to include...
Basically, we're going to tear down the intake manifold, remove the stock TGVs, remove the stock rails along with the stock injectors. And then we're going to start installing the goodies, which are torque solution TGV deletes, torque solution fuel rails, ID 1050s, and electric boost controller.
Alright guys, if you enjoyed that video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and see you guys on the next one. Look guys, Juan is camera shy. He's so nervous he has to write all this stuff down.